My philosophy towards nutrition these days is I take a different approach entirely from what most people do when they think of fat loss and cutting. Because most people, when they want to cut weight and go on a diet, they think of what's all the bad stuff that I have to cut out? Like, I'm not allowed to eat carbs, I'm not allowed to eat junk, I'm not allowed to eat this, I'm not allowed to eat that. And they have this cut out mentality of all the stuff they have to cut out and avoid. I take the reverse psychology approach and think, what's the good stuff I need to add in? Like what the protein, the vegetables, that high volume, nutrient dense food, put that in first. And then by default, we naturally squeeze out the bad stuff because there's less room for it, right? It's a reverse psychology approach, but it's an easier approach. And it's what makes fat loss sustainable over the long term. Hey there, how's it going? It is your muscle building and fat loss coach, Lee Hayward. And in today's video, we're going to cover another first step to fat loss. And this is part of a new video series that I'm putting together covering simple one-step actions that you can take towards moving in the right direction to reaching your fitness and fat loss goals. And the whole purpose behind this is to simplify the process, give you practical things that you can take away right after this video is finished and start implementing right away. No special prep, no special thought process gone into it. It's just, hey, learn a new thing, implement it right away, and start getting results. That's what it's all about. And that's the whole purpose behind this first step to fat loss series that I'm putting together. Now, if you haven't already done so, make sure to go back and check out the previous videos that I've made on this. I have a playlist that I'm putting together, so I'll link to them up in the cards. I'll link to them down in the video description below, so make sure to go check out those previous videos if you haven't already done so. But in today's video, we are going to cover a fundamental nutritional element that will help maximize fat burning and make the process of losing weight and getting in shape so much easier. And this is something that is as old as dirt. This isn't nothing new. You've heard about this ever since you were a little child. In fact, your mother was preaching this to you back when you were a kid. And chances are you ignored her advice, if you're like most kids. But it's the topic of eating your vegetables. Like this video and comment below if your mother has ever told you to eat your vegetables as a kid. I know my mom certainly did. And chances are your mom probably told you the same thing. Eating your veggies is one of the most underrated things when it comes to fitness and nutrition and reaching your fat loss goals. And there's several reasons behind this, and I'm going to explain them in this video. First off, when it comes to vegetables, they are very high in volume, very nutrient dense, and you can eat them till they come out your ears and not get fat. Like, nobody got fat because they ate too many vegetables. I've been involved with the fitness industry for over 30 years, and I haven't seen anybody yet who's became obese because they ate too many vegetables. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's like 1 in a billion out there, like someone who actually has, but I haven't seen it yet. Very often, if you see someone who's overweight and out of shape, it's not that, oh man, I gotta lay off the vegetables, right? You know, I went to the doctor and doctor said, man, you're 50 pounds overweight and you gotta lay off those vegetables, right? Those vegetables are making you get fat. No, it's never been said. Never. Nobody's got fat because they ate too many vegetables. They got fat because they ate too many of the wrong things, the processed foods and the calorie-dense junk foods and the sweets and the cakes and the crisps and the whatever, you know, the drive-through and the takeaway and all that kind of stuff. Nobody got fat because they ate too many vegetables. So vegetables are like the free-for-all food. And this is my secret to staying full, keeping my calories in check, and actually enjoying the process. Because with veggies, you can eat them in such large quantities and give your body that eating satiation, give your belly that sensation of fullness, and still keep your calories in check so that you can achieve a calorie deficit for fat burning. And the cool thing about them is they naturally curb your appetite. Like, very few people go on a vegetable binge, right? Like, think of opening up a bag of potato chips. Like, can you just eat one potato chip? No, probably not, right? I mean, like, it's not a coincidence that you just can't stop at one chip, right? You start eating, you keep eating them. Next thing you know, you're scraping the bottom of the bag and you don't even feel full. Even though you just ate a ton of calories, you don't feel satiated from it. Now, think of a big bag of salad, right? Like, can you just sit down and endlessly eat that? Now, I pretty much can. I mean, when I'm having my vegetables, I usually eat a whole bag of salad at a time, but it's filling and it's satiating, and it gives you that eating satisfaction because you get all that volume. And not only that, you're getting a lot of nutrients in there as well, because vegetables are high in phytochemicals and antioxidants and fiber and a lot of that green goodness that your body needs, stuff that's going to help to nourish you on the cellular level. And by getting that into your system, you're going to improve your overall health, you're going to improve your digestion, you're going to improve so many things. You're going to improve your regularity so that you're going to the toilet on a more consistent basis, and the plumbing is cleaned out, so to speak, and everything is working optimally. And it helps just to improve your overall health. But the big one is it also keeps the calories in check. And my strategy for every meal, I always have a large serving of vegetables, right? Whenever I sit down to a meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter, I always fill up on vegetables first. That's one of my key things. In fact, my key habit is I have protein and vegetables, right? It's like my power duo. They're the Batman and the Robin, if you will, right? Protein and veggies. And in the last video, we covered the topic of protein and the importance of that. So if you haven't done so, go back and check out the protein video. But in this one, we're covering vegetables. And I like to have the protein and veggies together. And there's a reason for this. One, these are the high nutrient dense foods that are going to nourish your body, provide the raw material that you need for building lean muscle, nourish you on the cellular level, and fill you up without causing you to have excess calories or fattening calories. Another thing is protein and veggies complement one another powerfully, because when you eat protein, it's naturally acidic. Vegetables are naturally alkaline, so they help to balance that acid alkaline in your system. And so when you have that, it actually helps to nourish you, helps to improve digestion, helps to improve gut health, and they're very complementary. So protein and veggies should be the foundation to your meal. And so every time I sit down to a meal, again, breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter, I always make sure that there's a serving of protein and a serving of vegetables with that meal. And this is what I fill up on. This is my pre-fill. I pre-fill my belly with protein and veggies. And this takes the edge off my hunger and ensures that I'm getting that high nutrient dense food that's going to help to nourish me and provide the fuel that I need for building muscle and improving health and athletic performance and all that. And then afterwards is when I will eat, fill up on like starchy carbohydrates. If I'm craving some sweets or something not so good, like if I want to have some dessert, I will have it in moderation, but I'll have it after I've had my protein and veggies first. And this is a powerful strategy to allow you to still indulge in some not so good foods, but not ruin your diet in the process. And I'll give you a prime example of this. A few weeks ago, my wife and I, we wanted to order a pizza, right? I'm a human being, we're normal. We like to have some pizza from time to time. It's one of my favorite cheat meals, if you will. But how I go about it now is a lot different than the way that I used to go about it back in my fat, out-of-shape dad bod days. What I'll do now is I'll pre-fill my belly with protein and veggies. So in the case of when we ordered the pizza a couple weeks ago, I had a large garden salad and I chopped up a chicken breast and put in that salad. So that served as a generous serving of vegetables, generous serving of protein. And then after I ate that, then I had a couple slices of pizza. And by the time I had the couple slices of pizza after pre-filling my belly with the protein and veggies, I was full. So I had the satisfaction of getting the craving of pizza out of my system with a lot less pizza. And I walked away from the table feeling comfortably full and satisfied. Whereas if I had started eating the pizza first, I could have probably ate 4, 5, 6 slices. Who knows, depending on how hungry you are. You can slam back a lot of food when you're hungry. But by pre-filling with protein and veggies first, you take the edge off the hunger and you literally fill up the belly so there's not as much volume in there. And then when you eat the not so good food afterwards, you just naturally eat less of it. So it's not that you have to eliminate it, it's just order of priority. Prioritize the good stuff first, and then there's naturally less room for the bad stuff after. And this is a killer strategy to allow you to enjoy your favorite foods and do so in moderation without feeling like you're restricting them or feeling like you're depriving yourself. Because once I had a couple slices of pizza after the chicken and the salad, again, I was comfortably full. In fact, I was stuffed. I couldn't eat anymore. And that's a great way to feel. It's nice to leave the table feeling comfortably full and not like you're depriving yourself all the time. So this is a killer strategy. Pre-fill with protein and veggies with each meal. And there's another bonus to this as well, especially for guys. Vegetables, especially the cruciferous vegetables, you know, your broccoli and your Brussels sprouts and your collard greens and your all those good green vegetables, they have a natural anti-estrogen properties to them, meaning they help to neutralize excess estrogen in your system. And this is powerful because excess estrogen causes that soft, mushy look to your physique. Like you see people who eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of times those processed foods elevate estrogen levels and it causes you to look soft and bloated and water retention and all that kind of stuff. When you eat vegetables, it has natural anti-estrogen properties there. So it helps to neutralize excess estrogen and it gives your physique a leaner, harder, more defined look. So if you want to have a tighter physique, eating vegetables on a regular basis will help you to achieve that. And again, not only because they're low in calories and they're high in nutrients, but they'll help to neutralize the excess estrogen as well and give you that leaner, harder look to your physique. So it's a very powerful tip to have. And this is my homework assignment for you, is I want you to have vegetables with every meal. And I know that can be a bit daunting for some people, especially if you say, well, I don't like vegetables, but this is where I want you to start. Improve upon what you're doing right now. So if you're not eating any vegetables right now, just start by having an extra serving of vegetables per day. Like focus on being better than you were before. That's it. Like don't worry about trying to be perfect and say, well, Lisa's have vegetables with every meal, so now I got to go and overhaul my entire diet. Like no, focus on progress over perfection. So if you're not eating any vegetables right now, start with just having one meal a day with vegetables. Maybe, you know, whether like throw in a side of vegetables with your dinner or something like that. Or maybe for lunch, you're going to have a salad with your lunch. When you're out to a restaurant, right, instead of ordering a side of French fries or a side of onion rings or something like that, how about have a side of vegetables? Or start off with a garden salad. Like just trying to take baby steps in the right direction. Just try to do better than you were before. And this will help to build that momentum. And what you'll find with vegetables is it's an acquired taste. And the more you eat them, the more you will like them, and the more you will actually come to crave them. And this applies with a lot of foods. Like most people don't realize it, but there's a lot of things that we consume that is an acquired taste. Prime example, think of alcohol. The first time you've ever took a drink of alcohol, especially hard liquor, I mean, did you drink it like, say, a shot of whiskey or a shot of rum or something like that and say, wow, this tastes delicious, I love this? No, it burned, it was bitter, it probably like, blah, geez, why do people drink this stuff? You know, it does not taste good, you know, unless you're looking at those fruity, girly drinks or whatever, but you know what I'm talking about. Like if you're drinking straight up whiskey or rum or something like that, I mean, it does not taste good, right? I don't care who you are. Like initially, it does not taste good. But if you keep drinking it over and over and over again, then you acquire a taste, and now all of a sudden you actually crave it, and then, you know, then people have alcohol issues, right? I mean, I'm not going to go down that road, but I'm just using this as an example. So you can acquire a taste for vegetables just the same as you can acquire a taste for alcohol or a taste for anything. It's an acquired taste, and the more you eat your veggies, the more you're actually going to enjoy them and crave them. And in my case, I'm at the stage now where I literally crave vegetables. Like if I run out of vegetables and I don't have any, especially now in the winter time, like if we have a snowstorm and like I run out of salad and I don't have a salad for a day, like I miss my salads. I do. And when I go to the grocery store, like I stock up on them. I buy multiple of these big bags of pre-made salad and I have at least one of those per day, sometimes a couple a day. And I love it and I crave it. And it's something that I actually want. I want to eat those vegetables because one, I actually desire it. I enjoy the taste of it now. I mean, it's become an acquired taste that I crave. And I know the benefits. I know that it's going to fill me up. I know that it's going to help me burn fat. I know it's going to help to neutralize that excess estrogen. So I know all the positive benefits that I'm getting from it. And I actually enjoy it. And of course, it keeps me regular and everything else. I mean, so it's just like a win-win-win all around. And this is what you'll find. The more vegetables you eat, the more you're actually going to crave them. Your palate will change with time, but you have to take those initial steps. And the initial step now is just start doing more than what you're doing right now. So even if it's just start with a single serving of vegetables per day, if that's more than you're normally eating, then that's progress. And then build on it, you know, day by day, week by week, over time, build it up so that you're actually eating more vegetables. But ideally, in the ideal situation, you want to be having vegetables with every meal. Now, I realize that that's not always possible or it's not always practical, especially if you're busy and you think like breakfast or something like that. Like, hey, I'm rushing, I got to get out the door. I don't have time to, you know, whip up vegetables for breakfast. This is where you can actually use supplemental vegetables in the form of greens powder. Like we can buy supplemental protein in the form of protein powder, and you can buy supplemental veggies in the form of greens powder. And this is what I will do anytime I can't get a serving of vegetables in my diet, is I will supplement with greens powder. And you can buy this at pretty much any supplement store these days, pick it up at the grocery store. Anywhere they sell like protein powders and vitamins and things like that, they should carry greens powder. It's very popular these days. And you can simply mix it up into a drink. You could add it to a protein shake. You could add it to a smoothie or something like that. Personally, the way I take my greens powder is I just dry scoop it, because the scoop is usually not that big, right? It's maybe like 5 to 10 gram scoop, and I will just take a scoop of the greens powder, dump it in my mouth, chase it down with water, and that's the way I get my greens. Because greens, it's not the most pleasant drink, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily taste bad, but it's not something that you would drink for the taste. Whereas protein powder, a lot of them taste pretty darn good. You can get a nice chocolate protein powder, a nice vanilla protein powder, or whatever different flavors you get, and you actually enjoy it, and you could drink it for the taste. Greens ain't so much, right? Like greens still has that green vegetable-y taste. And I find if you mix it in with like your protein shake, you put in greens powder with the chocolate, it kind of offsets, you have a vegetable chocolate taste, and it's not the best. Or so it kind of ruins the protein shake. So what I do myself is I just dry scoop it. Now, if you've never dry scooped supplements before, just start with a small, like maybe a quarter of a scoop, and dump it in your mouth, take a swig of water, swish it around and gulp. Almost like, like a shot of greens, if you will. But once you get used to it, it's actually quick and easy. It's almost just like popping vitamins, pop a pill. It's very simple. And that's the easiest and quickest way that I found to get my greens powder in, is I'll just dry scoop it, take a swig of water and wash it down that way. And I'll do that anytime I can't get some solid food vegetables in my diet. So that's a little strategy, a little hack for those of you. And even if you're in this initial phase where you're like, I don't like vegetables, well, hey, start with supplementing with greens, right? Now, granted, you won't get the full eating satiation and the volume and the fiber that you would if you were eating actual vegetables, but you're still getting the nutritional value. You're still getting the phytochemicals and the antioxidants, and you're still getting the goodness of vegetables. All the health benefits that you get from vegetable extracts, you will get that in the greens powder. So it's a baby step in the right direction. So this is what I would recommend. And this is, again, your homework assignment after this video is over. Start eating more vegetables. Even if today you eat a serving of vegetables that you normally wouldn't. One more than you normally would. And then next time you're at the store, pick up some greens powder, keep that on hand, and that could be your backup. For those times when you can't get solid food vegetables in your diet, you can supplement with the greens powder instead. And I'm telling you, it's a simple strategy, but it will go a long way. And my philosophy towards nutrition these days is I take a different approach entirely from what most people do when they think of fat loss and cutting. Because most people, when they want to cut weight and go on a diet, they think of, what's all the bad stuff that I have to cut out? Like, I'm not allowed to eat carbs, I'm not allowed to eat junk, I'm not allowed to eat this, I'm not allowed to eat that. And they have this cut out mentality of all the stuff they have to cut out and avoid. I take the reverse psychology approach and think, what's the good stuff I need to add in? Like the protein, the vegetables, that high volume, nutrient dense food, put that in first. And then by default, we naturally squeeze out the bad stuff because there's less room for it, right? It's a reverse psychology approach, but it's an easier approach, and it's what makes fat loss sustainable over the long term. Because as I mentioned before, I will still have some junk food in moderation, but I always have it after I've pre-filled my belly with protein and veggies first, so that I physically can't eat as much junk food afterwards once I'm pre-filled with the good stuff. So getting the good stuff in there, still have a little bit of the junk food in there in moderation, to keep the cravings under control and not to feel like I'm deprived, but it's enough to tip the scale in favor of being good enough and good enough consistently and actually achieving long-term lasting results. And this is what makes healthy eating sustainable. And this is what I teach my personal coaching students in the Muscle After 40 Blueprint. We have a full step-by-step system that goes through this entire process, laying out how you can actually be good enough and good enough consistently, achieve the results without feeling like you're starving yourself on some crazy cutting diet or without feeling like you're killing yourself in the gym with extreme workouts. It's just about being better than you were before and making slow, steady progress. But the kicker is the progress you make is progress you keep. And it's sustainable, long-term progress. And that's what it's all about. So if you would like some help with coming up with a customized program and a plan, just like we cover in the Muscle After 40 Blueprint, feel free to reach out to me, right? You can email me personally at leeh@leehayward.com. I'll put my email down in the bottom of the screen there. Again, leeh@leehayward.com. And if you'd like some help with coming up with a realistic action plan that's right for you, then just drop me a line and I'd be more than happy to have a chat with you and brainstorm some ideas and see if we can come up with some strategies to help you move in the right direction towards reaching your fitness and fat loss goals. And in the meantime, make sure to subscribe to the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel because I have a lot more videos and content coming your way. And I will be talking to you in a future video coming soon. Take care, over and out.